Hello everybody, welcome to episode 2 of the Running Retrospective, as the introduction very gladly delivers, and hopefully the lovely thumbnail. Alright, so before we go into the experiences, I'm gonna kinda, this is a story editing technique. I learned it back in 2019 when I did creative writing back at King City High School, but, okay, here's the best way I can describe this. So, I remember watching certain episodes of The Flash back on the CW back in the day, and what they sometimes did for some episodes was they started at the end of the episode saying, like they showed Cisco Ramon one time, like, being arrested, okay? And then they do blank, and then the intro, and then 24 hours earlier, okay? I'm gonna do that, but for this running retrospective. Rather than go through the whole journey and talk about what I'm gonna do and then talk about what I got from it, what I'm gonna do is kind of talk about what I got from it in the beginning, hence the episode, what do I have to show for 8 years of running, okay? Now, I'm gonna warn you, I'm hoping I don't come off as, egotistical in this, okay? If I do, I extremely apologize in advance. Please bear with me the whole way through. That's not the point, okay? But with that disclosure and talking about why I'm doing it like that, and actually, wait, I didn't say why I'm doing it like that. Why am I doing it like that? I think it'll put it in perspective what the journey is going to work toward, okay? So, here's something I'm going to start off with. In high school, I had the privilege to be surrounded by a lot of great runners. You will hear about them. Very proud to be a part of King City, but I remember there were many times that I was like, I wish I was as fast as them. I wish I was and these were the standards I ended up creating for myself of what makes a good runner really at King City, but then also at Hartnell, okay? But running at the highest level of competition, okay? And later I expand that to be in both cross country and track and field, a team scorer in cross country. And team score in cross country, but then also at respective track and field meets like conference/league, you're scored in that. You're all conference in cross country and track and field. It's not simply just cross country and then you're okay in track and field, or just track and field and then you're okay at cross country. Like, you're good in both. So with that goes in the next part of what I think makes a great runner. You have your cross country and track and field abilities are linked. So, and then lastly, you have both speed and endurance. You're not simply just a speed athlete. You're not simply just an endurance athlete, okay? So over like my time at that since King City High School, when I was running with all those great runners, I really came up with these standards of and I convinced myself that's what made a great runner, okay? Are they accurate? I don't know. Are they accurate to me? Absolutely. Okay? So, over the years between King City, Hartnell, and Merced, my goals were always trying to fulfill that, okay? That was always what I was trying to do. Now, it's like, Josh, why didn't you just specialize? I was too stubborn too, and, well, I work with a mind of my own, guys, and I'm not going to tell you that's the perfect mindset. If you can specialize, I would say do that. You'll probably become a much stronger athlete, but I wanted it all. Anyways, I'm not even saying that as a good or bad thing. I'm just saying that's how it was for me. So, anyways, but over my years, I am a person who does a lot based off accomplishments. Okay, again, it's not necessarily good or bad. It's more just what it is. Whenever I talk to runners, it's always, what's your times, or were you ever all league or something. Why does that matter to me? Well, because all the great runners I always heard about and talked with were always all league. Speaking specifically in my section, all CCS, all state or all American. So, like, I'm very used to just hearing that, and that's automatically what I think of, okay? So, those are all the awards. So with that, I was always trying to chase those. Is that good or bad? It's what it is. But here's, with all that explanation, all that convoluted, I had my goals of what made a great runner. Okay, so let's first talk about the first aspect of being a great runner. Your cross country and track and field times are linked, and then second aspect, you have both speed and endurance. Okay, so in high school, I was a 4:37. Let's see if I can remember all the decimal points right. Athletic.net is in the bio. You guys can check if I got it right. I did not check before this though. I believe it was 4:37.76, and then my 3,200 meters or 2 mile was 10:33.38. Okay, and then my fastest ever 3 mile time for cross country was 16:30, which is 5:30 per mile. Those were my high school times. Junior college, Hartnell, I was 21:41 for the 4 mile, which is about 5:25 for 3 miles. And then across the 800, 1500, 3K, 5K, and 10K, I had the following times: 201.92, 405.25, 901.18, 1535.04, I think. And then 33, it's either 03 or 07.38, okay? That's from 800 to 10K. And then Merced, I got the following: my AK, which is 4.97 miles, and that converts to about 513 per mile, roughly. Then from the 800 to the 10K, we got the following: 158.36, 358 point, it's either 62 or 63, 844.85 or 6, 1520.03, and then the 10K was 35.99 or 0.98, something like that. Okay. So basically, I was able to work at the lowest level of 158 so sub 2, so 59 point something per lap, all the way to the 10K, and that ended up being about 514, I believe, is what 32:35 is per lap. So if you put that in terms of 400s, that's about, let's see, 75 would be 5 minutes per mile. So if we want 514, we need to add across it. If I did divide 14 divided by 4, I should have done this. Let's see, I believe, 3 times 4, okay. We're looking at about 78 or 79 seconds per lap. Okay? So I was able to do all that. Cross country, I was able to basically hold my fastest 10K pace, but for an AK. Alright. As you'll probably go throughout the videos, I probably could have and should have been a better long distance runner. It's fine. But either way, in my eyes, considering I start off as a 4:37 and 10:33 guy in high school, and then even just 16:30 for 3 miles, I honestly was really happy to see myself be able to become, for basically 5 miles in the AK, 5:13 per mile pace, and for the 10K, I actually tripled my 2 mile time. Actually, that if you look at my 10:33 and then 32:35, that's about my 10:33 done 3 times over plus an extra lap. So I was really proud of that. The only thing I wanted was fast. That was a big problem with me, was I was always looking toward faster, which isn't a bad thing, but I should have been a little more content with what I hit. But anyways, in all that, what I also hit at Hartnell, I was double all conference in cross country. Just won all conference consecutively each year while I was there for 21-22. At Merced, I got all conference in cross country in 2024. I unfortunately did not get to run 2023 cross country conference. And then I was never all conference in track and field at Hartnell. I managed to bomb conference both years in a row. But then I got double all NorCal by placing 6th and 8th place in the 1500 and 10K at Hartnell. Then at UC Merced, there's no regionals. But in track and field, I did become a 4-time all-conference medalist with placing the 1500 and 10K my first year in 2024, and then in my second year, 1500 and 5K in 2025. And with all those, I managed to contribute points to our winning titles. I was never a scorer at a meet in Hartnell. I was a scorer for a few cross-country meets back in King City High School, but not for Hartnell. I somehow never cracked the top 5. I was the highest placement I got at Hartnell was 6 as a team, as a runner. But at UC Merced, the highest I placed was 2nd, and I was a point contributor in cross-country toward our team scores, and then track and field I contributed toward those titles. So with that comes all the team accomplishments. So at King City High School, okay, I'm gonna say all the following. So while I was there, the 2 team titles I only consider myself really like a part of, if I'm being honest, are 2018 MTAL Track and Field League Meet, and then 2019 PCAL Cross Country League Championships. We took first place in both. The other ones that I was there for and technically was part of RC, I was just an alternate, was the problem, was 2018 PCAL League Cross Country Championships. Then there was 2018 Cross Country CCS Championships, and then King City went on to earn 4th place team standing at CIF state. And then 2019 I did run league, so I was part of that. But then I got tendonitis, so I had to sit out our 2nd consecutive win in 2019 cross country CCS, and then it ended up being a 5th place state finish at CIF that year. So that was high school. Hartnell, all the team wins I'm about to talk about, I consider myself truly a part of. I technically was there witness 2 other ones, but I'm not going to bother listing them here. I'll leave that for the rest of the retrospective. But then, Hartnell, we didn't lose a single conference while at Hartnell, so 2 cross-country Coast Conference championship titles for cross, and then 2 for track. And then 2022 NorCal Cross Country Championships, my team won that. And then we were 4th place state finish at CIF, or JUCO State Cross Country Championships. And then for track and field, besides the conference titles, in 2023 we were the NorCal men team's runner-up. And then that's all far now. At Merced, I got to be a part of 3 conference championship titles, 2 for track and field, 1 for cross country, and then I also got to be a double nationals competitor, 1 for cross country, 1 for track and field. Those are actually both right here, actually. 4x8, and then, cross country AK. Everyone runs the AK. So those are my times, and those are all my team accomplishments, all conference accomplishments, and all the titles and such. Guys, I'll be honest. I just started off with this video talking about how I always talk about the all conference, all section, all American, yada yada. As I've gotten older, I've found those don't really matter. What truly matters, is gonna be the times, okay? But do I love all the medals? Do I love having those titles? Yeah, I do. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna be honest with you. What I have to really show for 8 years of running isn't gonna be that, okay? Don't get me wrong. Having this here, this will, by the way, forever be treasured. Thank you, V. This will be cool. And then, okay, I don't know why Merced started to do this, but they're not the only school in NAIA that does this, but you get rings for the conference championships. There should be 2 more. They just weren't made as of this video. But honestly, I think what I'm going to take most, excusing all the medals, all those team wins, which those team wins were epic, by the way. I will always run them. But what I think I'm truly going to take from my 8 years of running, besides the times, really, I'll always be able to say I was sub 2 guy, sub 4 guy, sub 9 guy, managed to crack the 26-minute barrier in the AK is honestly going to be these. Oh my gosh, this may be a sign that I'm overly compulsive, but it's fine. In 2020, I started getting to making Shutterfly photo albums. And in high school, I used to not take any pictures, so I only have one album that shows all 4 years of my high school running. She wrote all the people I got to meet, all my running awards, and then all the team wins and all my coaches. You can't read it, but this is my high school cross country and track and field album. But then the moment I started Hartnell, I said, I'm gonna make sure I document this in a way that's never been done before. So here's how I did it. So I made an album every single season. So this is 2021 cross country. And then with cross country, I also made a team one, okay? So this is like, this album right here, anyone on the team could buy it like a yearbook. And it has all the team wins, photos of people running that I was able to get. It's just like a good little season book. I also made a personal one for track and field. I didn't bother making a team one for track and field because there are way too many events I would not be able to include everybody. But this year, with my personal track and field one, you will learn 2022 track and field was not the best season, but ended up being the start to something bigger. 2022 cross country, personal. That photo is iconic. 2022 cross country team album. 2023 track and field personal album. This year is actually one of my favorite albums. I really love this one, how it came out. And I love that front cover. Those are the days. 2023 cross country. You will also find this was not the best season for me personally. Actually the beginning of it was good. Toward the end it got a little rough getting injured and having to sit out the last 2 meets. But it ended up being the start of something so much better. But most importantly, it was the start of the super squad. 2023 cross country team. 2024 track and field personal. This was the start of the come up. This was honestly, this will probably go down as probably one of my best cross country seasons actually, next to 2019 cross country. But this is 2024 track and field, cross country personal one. 2024 XC team one. That's by far my best team one actually I put together. And then the epic conclusion with the 2025 track and field one. Great season overall. I only wish we closed that better in the 5K and 10K, but this one will hold a special memory. But I think at the end of the day, what I'm gonna have to show for 8 years of running, besides all that, is really gonna be those. I think it's really gonna be only those that get shown all the time. Like the medals, they're cool and they're hanging right there, but at the end of the day, they're just medals that are gonna end up in a metal box one day. But those albums, I'll tell you right now, those are gonna be top slot. And honestly, I think the biggest thing I have to show for my 8 years of running, besides the times, all the medals and such, team wins, is going to be the stories I made with my friends. I made so many great friends on the teams. To just name a few special groups right now: King City Boys, the Super Squad, and then just so many dynamic duos with, I think my dynamic duo partners are always going to be, Oscar Delgado from King City, Daniel Pantoja and Jose from Hartnell, and then from Merced, I'd say it'd be, in terms of like running training partners and like people I was competing with, Alberto Alves, Cole, and Derek. You'll see it all. Screws up. And then while I was at Hartnell, all my old King City friends, and then when I was at Merced, all my old Hartnell and King City friends, and then actually also at Merced, all my JUCO friends that I met outside of Hartnell that just went to other JCs that I ended up getting to keep in touch with and form other bonds with, all of that was so special. I truly do think from my 8 years of running, it's going to be all those memories, all those connections, and just all the people. And I couldn't be happier for that. I really couldn't, because You know, the way I am, I sometimes talk too much. I sometimes am a little crazy. I sometimes take too many pictures. But at the core of it, what I'm really trying to do is just savor the moment and then also make it an enjoyable moment for me and the other person. And then years down the line, we can look back on and say, it was pretty dang awesome. And with my 8 years of running, I can do that. I can say that. And that's why I'm making this video, this little documentary to show that. So overall, that's what I have to, that's what I'm gonna say. That's what I have to show for 8 years of running. Yeah, medals, champion of character, most inspirational, a bunch of medals, all conference and cross country and track and field from Hartnell, and Merced, all NorCal from Hartnell, team wins at both Hartnell and Merced, actually, and also King City. And then a ton of academic awards, actually, at Casey High, Scholar Athlete of the Year. Then you had CSC, Academic All District at Merced, Dactronic, All Team Academic at Hartnell. You had Academic All State, and then what you call it, at Merced, U.S. Track and Field Cross Country, U.S. TF CAAA, All Academic, and then All Team Academic. So even a bunch of academic awards. We're gonna have all that, but honestly, I think what I truly took most from my 8 years of running were the experiences I got to capture with all my friends. So, yeah, that's what I have to show for 8 years of running, besides the times of being like sub 2, sub 4 and all that. It's gonna be these memories. So now, in the rest of the video series, let us go through those memories, what made them special, and how, in my eyes, I became what I felt was a great runner, even if I didn't accomplish every single goal I set out to do. But yeah, you're gonna see there was a lot of really great people, coaches and peers and the alumni alike. So that's what I have to show for 8 years of running. A lot of fun with some pretty awesome people who also happen to be pretty dang fast. And I think we'll cut that there. So thanks for enjoying part 2. I hope you enjoyed. If you haven't watched part 1, I recommend. Otherwise, stay tuned for the remaining parts of the running retrospective.